fan of these basic or standard sheaths. I'd rather have the Scout Carry, as I said in many videos, but a lot of people like these, and I'm thinking about I'm testing one of these out to see how well it does as far as a sheath system for this knife design, for the survival knife. I mean, it's a robust sheath. So I don't know. It's not my favorite way to carry a knife, but a lot of people like that. So I'm just kind of wearing it to see how it wears, how durable it is. This is the Revision 3 knife. As you can see, it's got the 00C stamp on it, 01. Just cut that old Yopon. I mean, we got this stuff is just everywhere. It's really invasive. Thought maybe I would do some carving today. It's been raining and wet, and literally this is the first time I've been able to get outside. The sun's trying to shine a little bit. So, use this opportunity to whittle on a stick. So, I chopped that old Yopon down, and that's not the most efficient way to do it. I mean, but I'm testing a knife out, so we're just gonna see how different things work. So we're gonna whittle on a stick a minute. I just split all the pieces, but maybe I can get something on here to just kind of whittle on a little bit. I don't know if anybody knows anything what the Yopon's good for. I don't know. It's all twisted. I do know that it is the only plant in North America that has caffeine properties. So it's like coffee bean. It has, you can roast the leaves. And there's plenty of videos on YouTube to do this. You roast the leaves, and it's actually create a drink that has caffeine. They claim it's pretty good. I don't know. I do know that you don't want to take the wood after carving it into a spoon and eat with it, because it's nasty. It just tastes horrible. So anyway, maybe I can use this to kind of just test the knife out. I want to see how this knife design works. Just kind of give you a comparison. This is the D2 that I was using for a while, and it works so great. And this is where the Revision 3 came about. And as you can see, there's some slight differences trying to work the grinds out, but I like this thicker belly here than on this one. I want to see how this works, but I'm thinking that this is going to be probably a better carver. But I gotta test this one out and see. And this is the 01. See how the darker patina on that, so you can tell the difference. Also the 00C. Also the D2 is much lighter. The D2 has a thicker handle this way. It's wider than this one. So that's probably going to be a different thing. The divot, the bow drill divot, is a little bit further down on this one, and I like that. I raised it up on this one, put it center to see what the difference was. And, and when you squeeze the handle, you can feel that bow drill divot a little bit more on that one than you do on this one, where the bow drill divot is down. So we're probably thinking about putting that divot a little bit further off center. It's going to look strange, but it's actually going to feel better, I think. Or it does to me anyway. And the other guys that's testing that out, I want them to kind of give me their thoughts on that as well. So that's one thing that I see a difference in. It just feels better to have that divot, this part of your hand, it kind of skips that divot there. It doesn't you don't feel it. So not that it might be a hot spot or anything, but we're gonna see. We'll see if that is a hot spot. So, but anyway, and the canvas, micarta, this canvas is different than this canvas. This one is slicker. I don't know why. I think it was the same micarta. I'm not sure. But anyway, I want to whittle them with both of these knives and just kind of get a feel for the difference in that part right there. Because if you can see, and kind of put these out here so that I can kind of show you. You see the width difference here and here actually has a little bit shorter travel up here. This is a little elongated. So I'm thinking that might be just a little bit longer sweet spot. I do know that the D2 is about an ounce lighter than the 01, and you can actually feel the difference. Yeah. I know when I picked the 01 up, I was like, man, light. And then I've handled the D2, and you know, you can really tell the difference. Also, the thumb ramp is a little bit closer to the handle, and I wanted to see how that, I may have to extend that back on up a little bit. But that's another thing that I noticed. And that's what the R&D phase is about, is to find out what works. You know, knives that work. You know. So yesterday, or one day, had in between rainstorms, I tested the bow drill divot and it worked fine. I'm thinking about doing a copper inset, and so I did a test run on a copper inset, and I didn't like it. I'd rather have the micarta. The micarta seems to spin better, has less friction. It just seemed to do better. And I'm thinking that it's just going to be one less part that could go wrong. You know what I mean? Because the copper thing could fall out. So the less parts you have, the probably the better off you are. But anyway, all right, let's get to whittling. One thing about it, if you consider the extra ounce on the 01, then two weight, you know, you keep going back to two weight. Two weight plays a part in this, and so you have better chopping power. Now, I don't know if it's going to be noticeable or not. I may do a chopping test between the two and see how that works out. But I do know that 01, I mean, it's that steel that I've been testing for years, so I'm a bit more comfortable with 01 than I am D2. Although I put that D2 through some pretty much some torture tests. So it actually held up a lot better than I thought it was. Because like I've said in other videos, that D2 has a reputation of chipping. And so just kind of see how that sweet spot works out on that. Let's see how it does on this one. Yeah. You see the difference? You can certainly feel the difference. Yeah, I'm thinking that's going to be that wider. I may have to go back to that. I'm just really liking that D2. And I never thought I'd like D2 over 01, but I'm thinking it's just the knife design, it's not the steel. A big proponent of what feels good in the hand. In this one, I'm starting to feel it in my forearm. Where this one is so much lighter, has better balance. So I'm going to have to figure out what the balance is off on this, because it does feel a little bit more blade heavy. In this one. But it's almost a solid ounce. I didn't think an ounce would make that much difference, but it really does. Makes a whole lot of difference. So it's actually a little bit shorter too, maybe about 1/8 of an inch. but it wouldn't be a full ounce there. It's the different steel. So maybe a D2 is a better steel for this. Although you'd lose your properties as far as getting a fire from a flint rock, but you know, that's so iffy. I'm not that sold on using a rock on your knife to get a spark, because if you're going to do that, I mean, you might have to have a flint. You're going to have to have some char cloth with you, because very few places do you have natural fungus that's going to accept a spark like that. I mean, down south, I don't know of anything that would accept a spark. I mean, we have the knockoff of a horseshoe fungus. It's pretty close, but even that, it's just a little bit, you're not going to be able to catch a spark like that. So if you're going to have char cloth, well, why not have some matches or a ferro rod or a cigarette lighter or something other than using the spine of your knife to get sparks from a rock. Now, D2, I mean, it's corrosion resistant. It's almost a stainless. It's so far it's been a pretty stout steel. It's chipped. This one hasn't chipped, and I mean, I put it through some abuse now. I mean, it would require some further testing, but I like the weight of it. I like the feel of it a lot better than the 01 for this style of knife. It just feels heavy. It just feels awkward, and this knife feels more balanced. So anyway, that's my findings so far. And like I said, this is the first video that I've done, but I've used this knife now a couple of times in the evening, just playing with it and doing a bow drill with it and things like that to see how well it works and how it carves. I mean, it carves okay, but then after using this knife, this knife just feels better. It's hard to explain. I mean, there's certain knives that just sing to you, you know what I mean? And this is one of those knives that just sings to me. It just has a certain feel to it. I like the way it carves, I like the way it feels, I like the balance of it. It doesn't fatigue my arm like this one does. This one, the weight is off somewhere, and I'm not sure what it is. Maybe if I bring that ramp up a little bit further, maybe take some of the weight off of it. Because I was thinking, and it just doesn't feel right. I'm going to get a measuring tape. I'm going to measure. Another reason why I don't like them type of sheaths. Some people love them. Alright, now this is the revision 2. This is what, and I narrowed it down here. So, but it feels a lot better in the hand than revision 3 in 01. It just, I don't know, it's not the holes in the handle maybe. But I'm wondering if it's the blade length, if I got the blade too long. So that's 5 3/4. 5 7/8, so that's 1/8 of an inch difference. Man, it shouldn't make that much difference though. And that right there. So maybe it's this part here. It's got some more steel out of it. It's down to about 1 inch. And this is 1 1/4 inches. So that's a whole 1/4 of an inch. right there at that spot, it doesn't carve as well. Whereas this one, and that carves beautifully. Yeah, see, even the D2 is right at 1.1/8. So I think I'm gonna have to narrow this part down. I'm going to narrow this down, expand this sweet spot here a little bit more, and move that up a little bit. Because it just feels awkward right now. All right, I'm gonna go to the grinder. All right, I reground it. I brought this up a little bit further and narrowed this down. As you can see, it's almost into the zeros. I took the 1 completely out of the 0.1. But my scales are on the blink. I can't do a weight, but I can already feel a difference. It is. I think it's lighter than the D2 now. So just I think the D2 is a little bit wider here. Kind of got, yeah, it's 1.8 on the D2. It's 1 inch, so it's about 1/8 of an inch difference. So you can see my little black line there where I marked it to hit the line, but I can already tell a difference. I mean, it just feels better in the hand. All right, let's do a little whittling. Oh yeah, a lot better. Feels a lot better, a lot better. So that's the key, is to narrow that down. And you still got that sweet spot right there, choking up on it. Yeah, so I got into the zeros. I'm about to do the location of the serial numbers and everything a little different, and also the type of steel. Maybe put it across there or something. Across there. But yeah, that already feels a whole lot better. Fine. Right there at that crook. Yeah, I like that. Let me I'm gonna split this down and get me a flat spot and see how well it does a spoon right quick. Get it right there on that hump. This is kind of twisted, so see how well it does. Probably better for it to get flat. Put it on the round stick. Alright, sit in the chair and wheedle a minute. Use it right there. Green wood's a lot easier to work with than the old seasoned red oak. And the Yopon is not soft wood, by the way. But it sure works good when it's green. Some good carving wood. I take that round spine right there. Just think of what all you could do with that. Arrow shafts, bow drill, spindles, spoons. Oh yeah. Yep, that little modification there did the trick, I tell you. Handles a lot better. I was beginning to wonder what the deal was. Well, we test knives out. We don't just throw them out on the market. I'm not much on repeating other designs, because if I haven't used it or played with it, I don't know what it's going to work. And I don't like doing knives that don't work. Too many times we buy things with our eyes because it looks good. And once we get it and play with it for a while, we put it back in the on the shelf or in the drawer somewhere and never use it again, because looks ain't everything. I don't know how long that took, but just in a few moments, probably less than 10 minutes, I would imagine, even maybe 5 minutes, I'm not sure. There's a functional spoon right there. At this point, all we're doing is just prettying it up. So, yeah, that did the trick on the carving. Alright, there it is. You notice that right there, that little hump right there, it's not decorative. That's to reinforce and strengthen that tip. That right there, that center part right there is thicker than these other two sides here. So I let the thickness of that blade go down as far as I could to strengthen that tip. You have a fine carving tip, but yet it's reinforced. So you can drill them bow divots, and you can use it as to open up those rotted lumbers and timbers and stuff to get those bugs out of. I about got it to where I can get it in the center of that tip now. Grind's getting better. I think that's pretty close to it. I think I might have got a little high in here, right in there, because I want that Scandi on this part to be a little thicker, so for strength. But I think that we'll see where I'm going to continue using this revision 3. Maybe 3A now, or C1 since I did change it just a little bit. Anyway, I might have to just kind of adjust it here and there a little bit at a time as I go to get the right design. Yep, I'm going to sit here and whittle for a while. R&D continues. And I like where we're headed.